port of entry and exit. So ibig sabihin po, nagpasok po kami ng mga may intelligence na po dyan and additional manpower. But kulang pa rin po yun. Ang isa pong nakikita namin at the moment, measures that can be resorted to include increased engagement with the local government units. Isa po yun. Kasi ang local government units po, alam po nila kung sino ang hindi taga roon eh. Alam po nila, may naging experience po kami before when we conducted an inspection sa area ng Tawi-Tawi. While we were waiting for our flight back to Manila, may nahuli pong dalawang mukhang mag-escape papunta ng Malaysia. Because nung tinanong namin, ang nakahuli pa nga ako is an elderly tourism officer. Sabi ko, ma'am, paano nyo nahuli? Kasi ho, ibang itsura. Hindi ho katulad namin dito na ganito ang pananamit, ganito ang mannerisms, ganito po ang characteristics. So yan po. So increased engagement with the different offices, doon po, lalo na po ang local government. Now, we also, sir, need to digitize. Ano ho dyan? Challenge po ang internet connection po dyan sa Tawi-Tawi. I think they are reliant on Starlink, but ang ano ho niyan, naalala ko nung nasa hotel po kami dyan, katabi na po ng dagat. Sorry to say, but napagkakawalan pa akong ayaw makipag-usap sa aking misis. Kasi hindi ako makonect, hindi ako makontak. So I had to go out to the beach just so I can get in touch with my own home via the internet. Pati ho connection ng ano niyan, ng cellphone, mahirap po. So that's another thing po. We need to increase yung capability ho niyan pagdating sa connectivity. Kasi ho very challenging ho ang ano diyan, ang connection. Now, probably we need drones. That's another option po na available sa atin. Yan po, Your Honors.
Mr. Chair, do you suggest that we should include a more stringent provision in this proposed measures? For example, increased presence in areas where the backdoor can be exploited to escape the arms of the law. Do we include some parang ganun na, some form of provision so that we can increase the capability of the Bureau of Immigrations in those areas that are known to be jumping off points to different parts of Southeast Asia?
Yes, for Your Honor. In this matter, we would like to seek the help of the DFA. Pagka may cases ng illegal departure, the agencies concerned should immediately move for the cancellation of the passport kung may illegal departure. That's one measure ho na pwede nating that we can look at. And we need to be very vigilant in filing criminal cases involving these illegal departures. And kung wala hong batas o mahina ang batas, we should craft one ho to strengthen that. A law against illegal departures. Yun po, Your Honor.
Thank you. Chairman,
Yes, good. Just on that point, kasi yung dagdag na tao, no? Meron bang international standard in terms of ratio? Kasi, for example, for judges, you should have one judge for every 20,000, 25,000 population. For, sa extension workers ng Taiwan, for example, for every 18 farmers, may isang extension worker. Meron bang ganong data or international standard in terms of immigration and border control? Ilan dapat ang magiging ideal na number of personnel to be able to guard or to be able to effectively implement yung laws on border control and immigration?
Your Honor, I don't know of any international standard, but just to give you the facts concerning the Bureau of Immigration, I mentioned earlier, we have 7,614 islands. We only have regular intelligence personnel sa Bureau conducting intelligence operations nationwide. Wala pa akong 100 yan. About 80, 90 regular employees. We have contractual and job order personnel conducting intelligence operations or being part of that, the intelligence division, mga ano po yan, 60 to 70. So we're talking about 150 to 160 po nationwide operating on matters concerning intelligence. Now, pagdating po sa Fugitive Search Unit namin, FSU, yan po yung mga naatasan at mandatong tumugis ng mga fugitive. Ang operatiba lang po namin 16 nationwide. Ganyan po kakonti. So you would wonder kung bakit left and right nakakapaghuli po kami. We ask the help of other agencies and vice versa. Humihingi rin po ng tulong sa amin. Binibigyan po kami ng mga intelligence information that these people are allegedly violating our immigration laws. So ganun po kakonti. So wala po talagang, imagine nyo po, ilan na po tayo ngayon sa buong bansa, 110 million, 150 million, and then I mentioned
15 ba PSA? 115 million?
112.
112 million.
112. And Your Honors, as I mentioned earlier, we have to contend with 300,000 square kilometers of total land area, an exclusive economic zone of 2.2 million square kilometers, of which coastal and municipal waters comprise 266,000 square kilometers. So pagdating po sa population vis-a-vis the number of immigration personnel required, intelligence operatives, we don't only have to contend with the number of aliens, but also the land area, the coastal waters, the municipal waters. Yun ho ang hinaharap po ng Bureau of Immigration.
Okay.
Oh.
Just on that, okay, just one follow-up question before we give the floor back to Senator Rafi. So, di ba meron kayong international convention of immigration chiefs?
We have the DGICM, yan po yung within the Southeast Asia.
Yes, di ba? So maybe you can, exchange information. Ilan ang employees ng immigration ng Malaysia? Ilan ang employees ng Malaysia, ng Singapore, ng Indonesia, ng Thailand, di ba? And then submit it to this committee so that we have di ba, at least some idea what the standards are in ASEAN.
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh.
I am a naturally curious person. So when I meet the immigration commissioners of the different countries, other immigration officers, I really ask.
Okay, good.
Your Honor, recently I was in Dubai. I was able to talk to the immigration commissioner. I asked him, how many are you? How many immigration? In Dubai alone. Kasi iba po lang setup nila eh. Dubai immigration is different from Abu Dhabi immigration. They have 5,000 immigration officers in Dubai alone. What about in Abu Dhabi? We have 3,000. So 8,000. I was able to talk to an immigration official from Australia last year. How many are you? About 7,500 immigration officers. But that does not include border control officers. Ibig sabihin yung mga tumutugis po sa kanila, nasa enforcement, additional 7,500. So that's 15,000 for Australia. I was able to talk to someone from Singapore. When I told him that we are about 1,800 only, what? That's so few. That's Singapore. Singapore na po yun. Japan, I think, has about 6,000 to 7,000 immigration officers. Considering that limited land area, na mas maliit na land area po yung mga bansa na yan, and they have that many, we really...
There you go. That answers my question. So DBM, please note, because you want a lean bureaucracy. Pero wag naman a malnourished and butot balat bureaucracy na hindi naman magagawa yung trabaho nila. Hindi ba? Baka super lean naman yung iniisip ninyo, hindi na nila magagawa yung trabaho nila, no? Okay. So, if there are no other questions with the
Sa akin, Mr. Chair.
BI?
Wala sa...
Kasi we can already ask the BI. Okay, go ahead.
Just one more question for the BI. On a good note, in our experiences with, let's say, kay Guo Huaping, I think coordination with the international community is very important. No? Coordination between the local Bureau of Immigration and the foreign or the that country's Bureau of Immigration became a very vital source of information. So looking at the proposed measures, there are proposals here to increase cooperation and coordination with other offices, although lahat to local offices. I would suggest to include foreign
Yes, Your
offices.
Honor.
And what do you suggest, Commissioner? How do we increase that interaction between the Bureau of Immigration and other Bureau of Immigration so that we can have intelligence gathering, we will know where they are, we can enforce, pwedeng tawagin in Interpol
Opo.
so that we can enforce. In the case of Guahuaping, Interpol ang
Yes po, Your
katulong,
Honor.
no?
Yes po,
So,
Your
but my point of the matter here is, it seems like it's very complicated to completely shut down the back door.
Honor. Your Honor.
But the other method that we can do is increase our intelligence and information sharing. So
Yes,
what
po.
do you propose we can include in the law so that you will be capacitated?
At the moment, Your Honor, we are actually always in touch with the different immigration officials and intelligence officials from the different ASEAN countries. So yearly po, meron po talaga kami pag-uusap. Ano po yan? Meron hong isang ASEAN country that hosts the what we call the Directors Generals and Immigration Commissioners Conference. This year it's going to be in Cambodia. So dyan po, we exchange notes, we exchange information, we have bilateral and even trilateral meetings. Ang sa ASEAN po niyan na meeting, kasama rin po ang 3+1, meaning China, Korea, Japan, and also Australia. So ngayon po, we do the bilateral and trilateral meetings just to address those issues po na nabanggit po nyo. So we are constant participants. Now, at the moment po, kung ilalagay po sa batas yan, siguro po as a matter of policy, we encourage the participation of the Philippine delegation to those international conferences. We are also active participants in the international police, sa Interpol. Oh. And then we can also increase our engagement not only within the Southeast Asian region, but also probably Europe and other relevant areas. Para po, kasi ang ginagawa po ng iba, at buti na lang po, lately napipigilan po natin, iniisip po ng mga fugitives sa iba't ibang bansa na ang Pilipinas ay pwede maging haven. But with the recent developments like the introduction of the Advanced Passenger Information System, marami na po kami nahuhuli. And because of the increased engagement with the different governments, kami na rin po ang nilalapitan para ipahuling kanilang mga fugitive. Para po either hindi ko sila makapasok dito dahil sa Interpol red notices, or kung makapasok man, we are given the information as to where these people are and how we can apprehend them and send them back to their own countries. Hindi pwede pong gawing pahingahan ang Pilipinas. Hindi po pwede. Hindi pwedeng dito sila, akala nila ay makakatakas sila. So, increased engagement po, Your Honor. Encouragement of the Philippines' participation, not only in the conferences involving the different countries in the Southeast Asian region, but also the world. Yun po ang
Thank you,
nakikita ko yun.
Commissioner. Pero, Mr. Chairman, just to close on this topic, since we are already talking about modernizing the Bureau of Immigration, we should also, at the proper time, I'll make some proposals, amendments, Mr. Chairman, to also internationalize or make it more global so that it will have capabilities to interact with other Bureau of Immigrations, share information, because I think in the next few years, the world will be, well, in the next few years, actually now it's borderless already, literally borderless, especially at the back door. So more so, the Bureau of Immigration should not only attend events, but closely coordinate, fuse themselves with other Bureau of Immigration so that information will be seamless. And if ever there are people who will escape the arm of the law, kaagad meron tayong information and we can already alert those countries. So I just want to take this opportunity because we're already talking about the
Yes.
modernization, Mr. Chairman.
Maybe
Your
also before you comment, please note, Commissioner Viado, that you're also speaking to the chairman of the Committee on Finance, okay, of the Senate. So, and modernization is impossible without funding. Okay? And but having said that, may we request the Bureau, alam mo, importante yung ano ang direksyon ng modernization ninyo at ano ang deliverables, ano ang targets. Kasi kung pag-uusapan natin ito, and when we defend your measure on the floor, we want to have a roadmap to modernization, clear roadmap.
Yes.
So we're looking at initially at least the next 3 years. If this becomes law, what is your 3-year modernization deliverables? Kasi ang Agriculture and Fisheries Modernization Act 1997 pa. So magte 30 years na next year. Pero nasaan ang agri ngayon? Okay, so when we defend this on the floor, how much budgetary support are we talking about in the next 3 years so that your modernization will become real? How will we reach from 1,800 officers rank 5++ to say 15,000 or 10,000 or 5,000 in the next 3 years? Diba? We want first world delivery of immigration border control enforcement, but we should give a first world budget as well. Hindi pwedeng first world ang gusto natin pero third world yung budget natin, hindi ba? So and I'd like to see that strategic 3-year 2026, 2027 and then 2028 so that when we defend the measure on the floor, we have a clear vision and deliverables as to what we mean by modernization. It's not just the law per se and giving you more powers. Well, that is important. It's also what are your deliverables in the next 3 years. That will convince our chairman of the Committee on Finance to fund your modernization program. Go ahead, please.
Your Honor, if I may add my few cents worth on the question propounded by the Honorable Senator Gatchalian earlier on how the BI can be assisted in intelligence gathering and the like. That is why we are proposing the creation of positions for immigration attaches, because the immigration attaches can gather the information needed so that we can determine with full scrutiny the people who are entitled to enter the Philippines and those who are not entitled will be immediately excluded. Yung po ang reason. That's a primary reason why we were pushing for the creation of the position of immigration attaché. It is not only for the purpose of visas. It is for the purpose of enforcement and for border control. We need to determine at the soonest possible time who are these people who intend to enter our country and who are not privileged to do so. Entering the Philippines is a privilege. It is not a right. So in order for you to avail of that privilege, you must pass the strictest scrutiny as far as your personality, as far as your background is concerned. Your Honor, we also submitted before the Appropriations Committee of the House of Representatives a modernization plan for 5 years. We will also provide this honorable committee and the honorable committee of Senator Gatchalian with the details of such. If I may be allowed to just go through it so that you would have an idea, Your Honor.
Yes, very quickly. Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Before you proceed, hindi naman ata nag-o-object yung DFA dun sa immigration attaché. Coordination. Kung meron man, dapat maliwanag ang responsibilities and coordination. Hindi pwedeng may sariling diskarte yung BID na hindi alam o hindi coordinated with the DFA.
We understand.
At least that's my understanding. Okay, go ahead.
The 5-year BI modernization plan by category is as follows. First is the modernization of equipment, facilities, and offices. Information and communications technology is 3,578,699,767.39. This is comprised of automated border control or the ABC system, the border control information system or BCIS, the electronic gates, and the technology revitalization for phase 1 of NAIA Terminals 1 and 3, Mactan Cebu International Airport, and Clark International Airport. We also have the business continuity and facility disaster recovery. Kung sakali pong biglang nagkaroon ng backdown sa system, we need a disaster recovery. For that, it's 1,018,073,306.25. Previously nga pala, yung automated border control, Your Honor, 2,182,264,177.96. And then cybersecurity is 331,089,783.18. Advanced passenger information system and passenger name record, 47,272,500. So yan po yung 3.5 billion. Yan po ang breakdown. We have the purchase of lots for the Advanced Passenger Information System Operation Center or APOC within the National Capital Region, 150 million. Ang BI Warden Facility building para po dun sa mga mga wards na nakadetain, 1 billion. And then we have the Regional Intelligence Operations Unit, Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, including Bonggao Immigration Border Crossing Station, yan po sa Tawi-Tawi. That's 40 million. Ang total po niyan for the purchase of lots is 1,190,000,000. The total or subtotal for A is 4,768,699,767.39. We also have the professionalization of employees, capacity building and training interventions, 179,101,960.90. And the total is 4,947,801,728.29. So yan po ang po namin for the next 5 years.
Okay.
2028 to 2032, Your Honors.
Okay, thank you. We will now proceed to the Philippine Civil Registration and Vital Statistics Act. We can allow the resource persons on the immigration measure who have already made presentations and are no longer needed as resource persons for the other measures. We can have them excused from this hearing. But ang DOJ, meron pa. Ang DFA, meron pa. Okay, a 1-minute suspension so that we can have other resource persons occupy the vacated seats of previous resource persons. 1-minute suspension. We can now proceed with the next measure. This is the Philippine Civil Registration and Vital Statistics Act. We have with us one of the authors of the measure, Senator Win Gatchalian. Would you like to have an opening statement on the measure that is being tackled? Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At the onset, let me thank you for considering this proposed measure. And this proposed measure was also born out of that incident related to Go Huaping, aka Alice Guo. And during the budget hearing last year, 2025, one of our discussions was related to the late registration birth certificate issue. And that time, the PSA mentioned that they have detected 50,000 potentially problematic birth certificates that went through the late registration process, of which 840 are considered highly irregular, and of which 2 were endorsed for cancellation. But the gravity, yung 50,000, is actually a very starting number, because the late registration process was meant to address our constituents with no birth certificates. During the hearing, the PSA also mentioned there are about 3.7 million Filipinos who do not have birth certificates. That's their estimate. And we have the late registration process so that they can have access to birth certificates. But this late registration is being abused by unscrupulous individuals, particularly foreigners foreigners who have bad intention of coming to the Philippines, pretend to be Filipinos, engage in criminal acts such as pogo. Ngayon, illegal cigarettes na ang pinapasukan nila. So we have to plug the loophole. So that's why this representation filed this proposed measure to plug the loophole and also put accountability to registrars who are tasked to issue birth certificates and other certificates such as marriage and death. No? So we're putting the house in order, in short, Mr. Chairman. So once again, thank you very much for considering this bill, and maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Senator Gatchalian. We now have the DOJ for your position paper. Go ahead, ma'am.
Magandang umaga po ulit, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, ang representation ay inatasan lang tungkol sa VM modernization, pero yung last position paper namin regarding dito, Mr. Chair, was 2014. If the committee will allow us to submit na lang po ng position paper namin to follow.
Sige,
Salamat,
please do.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
We now proceed with the DFA. ASEC Luis. Ma'am, your Luis is a foreign.
Luis is my married name.
Yes, it's a
Yes.
and you're married to a
It's a Malaysian.
Malaysian. Okay, go ahead, ma'am.
Okay. Maraming salamat po, Honorable Chair, Senator Sherwin Gatchalian. Again, colleagues, good morning. The Department of Foreign Affairs expresses once again its gratitude to the committee for this opportunity to engage with partner agencies and stakeholders on the Senate bills that aim to strengthen the civil registration and vital statistics system in the Philippines. The department views this initiative as a timely and vital step to strengthen the integrity of our national record system and enhance the civil registry system for Filipinos worldwide, including the Filipinos who are served by the Philippine Foreign Service Post. The department has a keen interest in these measures as our consular officers at the Philippine embassies and consulates general overseas serve also as civil registrars and as reporting unit for vital events of Filipinos abroad, including reports of birth, reports of marriage, reports of death, among other civil registry documents, as vital events occur wherever Filipino citizens are, either within the country or beyond our shores. With the millions of overseas Filipino workers and permanent residents abroad, the measures introduced by the Senate bills directly align with the DFA's commitment to ensuring that our kababayans abroad benefit from a streamlined civil registration process, improved documentation services, and a robust civil registration and vital statistics system that safeguards their identities and welfare amidst their unique circumstances abroad. The department firmly supports these measures, including the provisions on immunity from suit for civil registration officers, including at the consular post, and recognition of foreign decrees or judgments. Your Honor, the DFA respectfully submits the following priority recommendations, which are summarized. We would appreciate the recognition of the role of the DFA as a partner implementing agency in civil registration and vital statistics, and the participation of the DFA in the formulation of guidelines for special circumstances, such as delayed registrations, adoptions, and others, and relevant propositions and projects impacting civil registrars or the consular officers at the Philippine embassies and consulates general, including references to overseas vital events such as births, marriages, deaths, and others. This ensures that the policies would reflect the unique situations of Filipinos abroad while maintaining national registry integrity. Second, technical control and administrative supervision over consular officers must remain within the DFA. Under the Foreign Service Act, the DFA holds exclusive technical supervision, control, and jurisdictional authority over its consular officers and staff at the Philippine embassies and consulates. Fragmentation of such oversight and authority risks operational inconsistencies and might entail delays in vital event processing. Rather than transferring control to the Civil Registrar General here in the Philippines, the department believes that closer coordination and civil registration policies would be more appropriate remedy for any policy and/or operational gap in the civil registration process. Thirdly, civil registration services should be balanced with the administrative fees outside of the Philippines. The department supports free course services but urges the retention of DFA discretion on rules, including the imposition of a limited, reasonable, and cost recovery based fee structure to ensure the delivery of continuous consular services abroad and reduce operational strain that would happen when such fees are not collected. Fourth and lastly, a reasonable period must be provided for timely registration of overseas vital events, taking into consideration the realities that Filipinos face abroad, such as varying foreign government documentary requirements and logistical challenges, such as the locations and mobility of members of the Filipino community overseas. The department is again committed to working closely with the committee to refine these elements to ensure that the policy framework and operational mechanisms introduced in the bills capture the unique circumstances of our kababayans overseas. Thank you, Your Honor, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, ASEC Luis. We now have the DOH. Again, may we request just to focus on highlights of your position paper because you will submit the same anyway. Go ahead.
Good morning, Honorable Chairperson and honorable members of the committee. The Department of Health would like to express its support to the measures on developing a modernized and improved system for civil registry and vital statistics. As one of the primary service users of CRVS, the DOH remains open to coordination with the PSA for swift and accurate record of vital events in a person's life from birth to death. To further strengthen the proposed Senate bills, the DOH recommends alignment with relevant existing policies, as well as clear delineation of responsibilities in recording births and deaths to properly streamline the issuance and clearance of birth and death certificates. The DOH stands ready to coordinate with local health officers, health facilities, the local government, and their civil registrants. Further, tighter mechanisms on registration, modernization, and adoption of digital solutions, and consultation of international best practices are recommended to foster robust interagency cooperation and interoperable information systems. As we have prepared this position, developments have been made at the House of Representatives and the Presidential Legislative Liaison Offices. As such, we will continue to coordinate with the legislative bodies in further refining the bills on CRVS. That is all. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you to Ms. Rebanal. We now proceed with the DSWD. Assistant Secretary Aziz.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and of course, the distinguished Senator Win Gatchalian. The Department of Social Welfare and Development expresses its support for the measures which seek to establish a comprehensive, inclusive, and responsive civil registration and vital statistics system. The measures directly advance the state's obligation to protect the rights and welfare of all Filipinos, particularly children, indigenous peoples, foundlings, migrants, and other vulnerable sectors, by ensuring universal access to legal identity and civil documentation. Consistent with the DSWD mandate to promote social protection, safeguard children in the need of special protection, and reduce structural barriers to access to basic services, the bills strengthen mechanism for free, accessible, and culturally sensitive registration, including delayed and mobile registration, by institutionalizing civil registration as a foundational tool for accessing social services, justice, health, and education. The proposed measures reinforce inclusive governance and enable more effective targeting of social protection programs. Having said that, we will just place out the details of our position in our written.
Yes, please. Yes, thank you. Thank you to the DSWD. We will wait for your position paper and the specifics. We now go to the NCIP. Mr. Johnny Michel Mingilian. Where is... Oh, again, please focus on highlights. And yeah, go ahead, please.
Good morning, Your Honors. The National Commission on the Indigenous People views the collective intent of these bills as significant legislative milestones. The effort to modernize the century-old civil service registry law address yung historically rendering millions of IPs stateless in their own lands. Collectively, these measures align with the mandate of the Indigenous Peoples' Rights Act by institutionalizing the recognition of indigenous socio-political structures, customary laws, and traditional rights within the civil registration and vital statistics system. Actually, good points of these bills, yung recognition ng customary institution, elimination ng socio-economic barriers, usually yung mga pagsisingil ng pag-register, paghalimbawa ma-free for the vulnerable sectors, that would encourage them to be part of the registry. Cultural sensitivity, of course, of the system, as well as yung pag-decentralize isang proposal through the barangay system that is welcome, especially for IP communities in GIDA areas. Then we have 2 points as to identify challenges and difficulties. Number 1, yung sa penalties for delayed registration. It is commendable that SBN Senate Bill 369 allows for free waivers, but some of those penalties might also affect limited access, lalo na sa mga IPs. No? Then, the digital divide. Pag sinabi natin digitization sa areas na kung saan may IP as well as internet connectivity, that might be difficult, especially kung yung territories or areas na yun will have internet connectivity problems. That's all, Your Honor.
Salamat. The PSA, Engineer Grande. When you say engineer, what field of engineering?
Actually, sir, I'm a civil engineer but assigned at civil registration service.
Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, the PSA would like to express its sincere appreciation for the initiatives taken to include the passage of this CRBS Act as one of the priority legislative measure under the LEAD Act. This is assigned with the government's goal to make civil registration more inclusive and accessible to all, protect the nation against unscrupulous individuals who seek to undermine national laws in furtherance of illegal acts, and the use of vital statistics in policy and community development. We respectfully support the passage of the Philippine CRBS Act as they effectively address the current issues concerning on the civil registration. One, on the increasing fraud incidents in the civil registry documents, relevant provisions proposed for the reorganization of the PSA Civil Registration Service and Legal Service, the inclusion to review the function in the technical control and the civil supervision of the CRG over civil registrars, the inclusion of the power to block or refuse to issue the documents, and the power to cancel fraudulent and spurious civil registry document of foreign nationals, and stricter offenses and penalties for the violation of civil registration laws, including the creation of a special committee on cancellation of fraudulent birth certificates of foreign nationals. The second issue is on the digitalization or modernization, which is high time for inclusion in the bill, the digital electronic reporting of births, the interoperability, as we mentioned a while ago, of the CRBS to the PILSIS database and other government databases such as the iHomies of the Department of Health, and the e-filing system for registration as well other petitions on civil registration. The third issue is on the duties and responsibilities of the LCRs. The Philippine Foreign Service Boss and the Sharia Circuit or district registrars are ambiguous. The proposed bill includes provision of clearly identifying the duties and responsibilities of the local civil registrars, the Consul General, Vice Consul, and Consul for the Philippine Foreign Service Post, and the Sharia Circuit and District Registrars for the registration of vital events of our Muslim Filipinos. The lack of statutory basis on the authority of CRG to conduct investigation over local civil registrars, the PFSPs and the Sharia in relation to their civil registration duties. The Act provides a clear definition on the technical supervision and control, the investigative and visitorial power of the CRG over the civil registrars, the PFSPs, and the Sharia Circuit or district registrars. The fifth issue to address by this proposed bill is the low level of birth and death registration. With this, a provision on the institutionalization of the barangay civil registration system facilitates registration at the barangay level, the inclusion of provisions in the registration of live birth, marriage, and deaths for the indigenous people and the Muslim Filipinos, the inclusion of provision, the waiving for the delayed registration fee, inclusion of the alternative posting and publication to address costly posting and publication requirements for such as, for example, the petition for correction under Republic Act 9048, and the institutionalization of the out-of-town delayed registration, including cross-border registration of Filipinos who are now residing, whether permanently or temporary abroad. The sixth issue that will be addressed with this bill is on the knowledge and competency of stakeholders performing civil registration functions. We believe that the bill provides a provision for the inclusion of LCR representative for the created interagency committee, the mandatory continuing education and training programs for the civil registrars and staff, the consul general, consuls, and vice consuls, the Sharia district and circuit registrars, as well as other stakeholders such as the local health officers in charge for the birth and death, provincial health officers, physicians, and other members of the health sector, including their duties and responsibilities in relation to the civil registration. The seventh issue that will be addressed is the lack of the statutory basis and to address issues on the registration and reporting of death under specific circumstances. Provisions as to registration of mass death, the verbal autopsy for those deaths that occurred outside the hospital, the reporting of deaths of unidentified persons, medical certification and determination on the causes of deaths, which we rely the quality on the debt statistics that we issued and the medical legal debts. On another note, accurate, complete, and timely release of vital statistics is crucial in the generation of demographic and health statistics needed by policymakers in crafting measures for the provision of better public service. In the Asian and the Pacific region, the Philippines has significantly improved its dissemination of vital statistics generated from the civil registration. Since 2017, the PSA has been releasing monthly statistical tables on birth, marriages, and death, including the causes of mortality. The special releases on the vital statistics issued per year, 11 months for birth, for marriage after the reference year, 12 months after the reference year for birth, and 13 months for the reference year of death. With regards to the current status on birth registration, as previously mentioned, in 2020, under the CPH, Census of Population and Housing, 96.6% of the 109 million Filipinos, or 3.6, are unregistered, no birth certificates registered with the local civil registry offices. We believe that the CRBS current status will be further improved with the passing of the proposed bill. We appreciate that this piece of legislation has been given its needed attention, and the PSA is committed to assist the legislature in passing a new law that is more responsive and appropriate to address current issues in civil registration. The agency will stay true to its promise to get every Filipino in the picture and ensure that no one shall be left behind. Thank you po, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Okay, we now proceed with the Commission on Population and Development. The Deputy Executive Director Takardon is here.
Yes, sir.
Again, please focus on your salient points and highlights. Meron pa tayong sa dalawa, tatlo, no? So for the let's make it brief but full. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, everyone. The Commission on Population and Development expresses its strong support for the proposed measures establishing a comprehensive and responsive civil registration and vital statistics system. From a population and development perspective, civil registration is not merely an administrative function. It is a core demographic infrastructure. It is the foundation upon which we measure fertility, mortality, marriage patterns, migration trends, and age structure transitions. It is the backbone of evidence-based governance. The Philippine Population and Development Plan of Action identifies the strengthening of demographic intelligence system and foresight governance as a strategic priority. A modern CRVS system is central to this objective. The proposed measure appropriately address from the standpoint of demographic resilience, are defined as the capacity of institutions to anticipate, absorb, and respond to demographic shifts and shocks. CRVS reform is indispensable. During public health emergencies and disasters, delayed or inaccurate vital statistics directly impair government response. These measures are not simply administrative modernization. They are structural investments in inclusive development, social equity, and national statistical integrity. The Commission on Population Development therefore respectfully reiterates its strong support for the passage of a consolidated, strengthened, comprehensive, responsive civil registration and vital statistic act. We thank the committee for the opportunity to provide this statement. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, Deputy Executive Director Takardon. We now have NPC, the National Privacy Commission, Attorney Tagiling. Go ahead, you have the floor. Again, please focus on salient features, the highlights, and the more extended, detailed position paper can be submitted. Go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and to the good Senator. The Commission expresses support for the passage of these proposed measures to modernize the civil registration and vital statistics system to prevent fraud, improve accessibility, and enhance statistical reliability. Considering that civil registry records contain personal information and sensitive personal information of individuals, the National Privacy Commission commits to interagency coordination so as to ensure compliance with the Data Privacy Act. Mr. Chair, we are still in the process of finalizing our position paper, and we will promptly submit it to the Honorable Committee.
Okay, thank you, Attorney Tagiling. Now we have Deputy Executive Director Dalde Nenita of the PLCPD, Philippine Legislators Committee on PopDev. May we request also to focus on highlights and that an extended, detailed position paper can be submitted to the committee. Go ahead, ma'am.
Magandang umaga po sa inyo, Mr. Chair. Happy National Civil Registration Month to everyone.
Not
So,
today ba?
Opo.
Itong buwan ba?
Ngayon pong Feb, buong Feb po.
Okay.
So very timely.
Timing. Oh,
Opo.
okay.
I'm also representing the Child Rights Network. That is actually the largest alliance of child rights organizations in the world, apparently. So PLCPD, both PLCPD and CRN have been supporting this proposal for the last 15 years, 5 Congresses. So this sustained commitment reflects our shared vision of a system that ensures every Filipino is counted, protected, and able to access the services they need. The current CRVS bills are omnibus measures that aim to modernize the system and make it responsive to both present and future needs. We firmly believe that policy decisions must be guided by evidence and expertise through open, transparent, and inclusive public consultations among policymakers and duty bearers and the affected populations. Because of this, we thank the committee for accommodating a municipal civil registrar from BARM from Maluso in Basilan. So hopefully she can also get a 2-minute airtime to share their experience. So along with our support and appreciation, we wish to respectfully underscore 2 simple but very impactful recommendations for this committee's urgent consideration. One is the extension of timely birth registration from the current 30 days to 100 days. And the second is the expansion of free delayed birth registration coverage from indigent individuals to those living in JIDA, hopefully regardless of their economic status. Our original intention talaga was to push for a universal free birth registration, but we understand that we're also earning from registration. So at least these are our minimum. And if possible, the first copies of birth certificate can also be given for free for these individuals. So these reforms recognize the realities faced by many Filipino families and bring us closer to a more inclusive, compassionate system. For countless children and adults, we have about 3.7 million Filipinos and about 1.4 of them are children. The cost of registration fee, the documentary requirements, and the distance to local civil registry offices continue to be among the significant challenges, particularly for families in remote, underserved, and marginalized communities. These obstacles deny individuals a right that should be universal, immediate, and free from discrimination. So both our 2 proposals seek to ensure that individuals and families in difficult circumstances are not left behind and can access government services without additional financial and logistical burden. When combined with travel expenses, documentary costs, and opportunity losses, the process becomes more inaccessible, as shared also by our resource person from NCIP. So providing free birth registration is therefore not just a matter of convenience, it is a concrete expression of equity and commitment to reaching the last mile. To be fair to the local civil registrars and PSA, the Philippines is one of the countries with the highest registrations at birth. It's at 98%. But the 2% from 115 is still substantial. While we acknowledge that civil registration also contributes to government revenue, we respectfully urge legislators and policymakers to prioritize social equity over projected collections from the most vulnerable populations. We also note that there are existing initiatives such as the Philippine Birth Registration Assistance Project, BIRAP, and similar efforts of some local governments that provide free birth registration. However, these remain project-based and are not institutionalized programs with sustained funding and long-term coverage. To truly achieve universal registration, free and accessible birth registration must be embedded in law and policy with continuous support and clear accountability mechanism. Thank you very much po.
Maraming salamat. And finally, from the local level, Municipal Registrar Office of Maluso in BARM, Engineer Quinto, you have the floor, ma'am.
Magandang umaga po. As a Municipal Civil Registrar Officer, I firmly support the CRBS Bill The failure to ensure universal and timely civil registration reflects deeper structure inequalities that deny Filipinos access to basic social services. Here are some challenges in civil registration and vital statistics. Parental negligence and lack of priority. Birth registration is not always seen as urgent compared to immediate needs like food, shelter, or livelihood. Limited information dissemination, socioeconomic barrier, registration fees, transportation, and documentation requirements discourage for families from registering births. Geographical and administrative challenges, remote communities have limited access to local civil registrar offices. Legal and policy gaps, complex documentary requirements. While this ensures authenticity, it may unintentionally make the process more burdensome for poor families who struggle to meet requirements. The consequences of delayed or non-registration are significant. In several cases, hospital discharge process are delayed due to the absence of birth registration documentation, or at worst, they cannot access social health services. Birth registration is often deprioritized even more so than death registration, reflecting a broader lack of awareness of its importance. Island barangays, in particular, exhibit much lower registration rates, further limiting residents' access to essential social services such as healthcare, education, and social protection. These are also significant integrating issues associated with delayed birth, death, and marriage registration. In particular, inaccuracies in recorded birth order have been observed, resulting in misclassification of siblings and later administrative complications, including delays in school enrollment for older children. Without and delayed birth registration, establishing a child's age become legally and practically impossible. This absence of official proof severely undermined the investigation and prosecution of criminal cases, particularly those involving child abuse, trafficking, child labor, and early marriage, where age is critical element. Civil registration is therefore not a merely administrative requirement, but foundational safeguard for children's protection, access to justice, and effective enforcement of law designed to protect minors.
Thank you. Ma'am, please submit also your written position paper, no? Okay, sige, thank you. We now have Senator Win. I will yield the floor for your questions. And I will also turn over the presiding duties for liquidity process. Please, yes, go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for allowing this representation to propound some question, even though I'm one of the principal authors of this bill. But I just want to enrich the record by asking some questions to the PSA, especially to update our numbers. During the budget hearings, I remember the PSA mentioned that there are about 3.7 million Filipinos. I would assume this is an estimate. Tama po ba? An engineer? Kasi wala nga silang birth certificate. So how do you get the number? So I just want to know now, how many Filipinos do not have birth certificates? And we have to strive that all Filipinos should have birth certificates, most especially at birth. Diba? That is the ideal situation. Pag pinanganak na yung bata, may birth certificate na siya. No? So, but just to enrich our record, how many Filipinos to date do not have birth certificates?
Well, thank you, sir. For the current data that we have is based on the 2020 census of population, that is 96.6% have birth certificates, which means around 3.62 million po yung unregistered births. But we do have a program, yung ating pong birth registration assistance project launched in February of 2022, targeted to register yung vulnerable sectors. Ito yung mga IPs, Muslims, and yung mga indigents. So as of today po, we already registered around 480,000 of that 2 million target. So currently, sir, yung official will be out soon kasi dun sa 2024 census population and CBMS, merong updates that will be getting from the official release. Pero nasa ano lang po, binavalidate pa lang po namin ngayon. But we're using that 2020 CPH, which is 3.6 million unregistered.
What year is that? The 3.6?
Based on the 2020 census of population.
2020. But
Yes.
2026 na ngayon, and then you registered,
Around
along the way, you have registered many Filipinos. So from that 3.6 minus the ones you registered, what is the estimate right now?
Actually, mga around 98% as mentioned a while ago. Pero binavalidate lang po yung final and official, which is based on the 2024 na census of population and CBMS.
So I would assume the 3.6 may na-register, but there are new births that are not registered. No? So I just want to get a feel of that number. How many Filipinos do not have birth certificates to date? No?
Yes, tama kayo, sir. Dun sa datos po, if I may give you na lang the based sa civil registration data po natin, in the 2023 2020 to 2023, around 40% are late registered po na datos na na-register in this period. So on the average po, ang timely or ito yung mga zero age na children being registered nasa 1.27 million. While the delayed registered, including the adults, ay nasa 849,000 po yung datos. So I cannot provide the exact for the current year because ongoing yung validation po namin based on the 2024 CPH and CBMS.
Bumaba ba, the 3.6?
Dapat
bumaba
siya, sir, because of the national program on birth registration, the BRAP, which provides free access doon pa lang sa delayed registration as well as relaxation in the requirements po, documentation, because these are the population belonging to the indigenous people, sa Muslim po, and yung mga indigents po.
Okay. And what is the source? Because we're now talking about a law that will strengthen the civil registrar, diba? The registration and vital statistics system. So my next question is, how do we encourage or prevent how do we encourage our constituents to register right away rather than register after many years or adults na sila? Because the best case scenario or the ideal scenario is when you're born, your parents will register you and they will get the birth certificate. So, and then all the documents and all the supporting documents will be there. What do you suggest that we should do to encourage our parents, our constituents, to immediately register their constituents, so their children, so that they will no longer go through the late registration process?
Okay, first, sir, we do annual celebration nga ng Civil Registration Month, the February, which we do intense campaign for a timely registration, not only for birth, including marriage and death. But if we may suggest po, yung isa sa mga provisions dito sa ating CRBS bill is on the institutionalization of the barangay civil registration system. So we recognize po that yung hindi po talaga nakaka-register are those belonging in the remote or GIDA areas, yung mga may barriers sa economic because they think there's a fee for the registration ng birth, marriage, or death. So yun po yung isa sa sinusupport ng aming ahensya to institutionalize the barangay civil registration system. Our barangay officials would involve in facilitation, reporting of the vital event from the barangay to the local civil registry offices. And we are developing this eCRBS, yung electronic CRBS, a system that will also allow through a designated barangay civil registration agents to be part of the sa civil registration function po.
So the strategy is now to go barangay level in terms of encouraging our constituents to register.
Yes po, sir.
To get their birth certificate. Okay. My next question is, again, this came out during the budget hearing. Um, the PSA mentioned that there are 50,000. First, how many late registration were undertaken for birth certificate?
Yung pinaka-recent na
Yung pinaka-recent
recent na data that was published, sir, is on 2023. Out of the 2.3 million na nasa database na po namin, we have a timely registered of 1.3 million, and yung late registration, yung 30 days, registered beyond 30 days po, is nasa 1.027 million. That accounts for 44% of the total na 2.3 million na registered in 2023 po.
Ang kalaki, almost 40% are late registration.
Actually, sir, if we see the trend from
This is only
2020
for 1 year?
to 2023, yes, sir, umakyat po siya, and probably because of our program, the birth registration assistance project that allows pre-delayed registration sa mga kababayan po natin.
No, half of the birth certificates were issued after 30 days. No?
Yes.
Tama? So, para sa akin, medyo malaki pa rin yun. Because nga, the ideal is, once the child is born, you register and you get your birth certificate.
Yes po, sir.
That's the ideal situation. No? So, having said that, itong 1.02 late birth certificate, what do you... I'll backtrack a bit. I think we're all privy to what happened during the Impogo days, no, where a lot of criminal syndicates exploited and abused our late registration system. In fact, hanggang ngayon, we're detecting some personalities became Filipino via the late registration birth certificate process, which is not the ideal situation, no? Because if you want to be a Filipino, you go through the naturalization process. But in some cases, it went through the late registration process, which is totally not the objective of this mechanism. Now, my question is, dito sa 1.02, ano ang assurance natin that it will not be abused again? No? We want to help our constituents. We want to help, kanina narinig ko NCIP, we want to help our indigenous communities. But in doing so, may mga tao rin nag-exploit itong proseso natin. So how do we now plug the gap so that personalities will not exploit the late registration process?
In 2021 po, sir, we issued a joint memorandum circular with DILG requiring and reiteration of the delayed registration process. So there are, in addition to the previous na rules on the delayed registration, we required the mandatory submission of barangay certificates, and also additional documents such as birth or passport of the parents if they are a foreigner. So that was in 2021. But with the case of former Mayor Alice in the past year, we reviewed again the delayed registration process of birth, and then we issued another revised guidelines on the delayed registration of birth certificates. So additional mandatory as part of the requirements now is to personally appear. The registrant, if of age, will have to personally appear in the local civil registrars. Then they have to enroll in the national ID, because with the national ID, we can get the biometrics, not only the demographic, but the biometric and the photo of that person. And also some identification of the parents of the registrant, which was not required before the implementation on the delayed registration. So we continue to monitor this, and in fact, sir, even in the we're still conducting the random audit on the delayed registration as we have previously requested on the 50,000. So this is a continuous activity that is being done by the PSA. And in fact, as of the data available to me right now is as of October 30, out of the 50,000, we have already audited 60.41%. So the Fraud Management Division of the PSA and the PSA Field Office conducts the random audit to our local civil registry offices. And proactively, we also validate delayed registration for the 8 years old and over because of that incentive they get when they reach a certain at the age of 80. So prior to registration, we do verify or validate the declared age before they can finally register with the local civil registry offices.
But in the law, in the proposed measure, in section 56, uh, requirements for delayed registration of birth. Nakasulat lang dito, letter A, certificate of live birth duly accomplished and signed by the proper parties. No? The proper parties would be a comadrona, di ba? Kung sa bahay, tama ba? Kung sa bahay siya pinanganak, or the midwife kung
Yes.
sa hospital siya. Tama?
The registrant, the informant, the registrant or the informant, also the physician, the attending physician or a hilot in case if it is a case of community birth. But the objective, sir, is to really review again for the process, considering that there are provisions on digitalization like the ECRBS, wherein the the source of birth, for example, if it's a birth that occurred in the hospital, it will start the preparation in the hospital. It's already linked with the local civil register. So we can improve further later on the requirements for the registration
Do we
process.
include that in the law? Yung personal appearance, do we include that in
I
the
think
law?
that can be included, sir, in the implementing rules and regulations.
Not hindi na sa batas. Hindi
I
na
think
ilalagay.
not so detailed on the provisions of the bill, sir, because there's also plan to further review given the digitalization.
Okay, okay. And then because yung certificate of live birth duly accomplished and signed by the proper parties, this can be the hilot, di ba? Ang problema doon sa mga fake birth certificates, puro hilot din nagpapanganak eh. No? Tapos pag hinanap na yung hilot, yung manghihilot, di mo na mahanap yung manghihilot. Because yung manghihilot can be, wala naman silang, they're not registered professionals, walang ID. No? So that's the reason why I wanted to tighten this provision, because based on our experience in the past, they would accept certificates from hilot or from comadronas, but there's no registered hilot database. No? Tama? So yan ang nagiging butas. In fact, marami sa mga investigation dito pinanganak by hilot. No?
Yes, sir. That's why there are
Kahit alam
other
natin
supporting.
mayaman siya, hilot pa rin yung nagpapanganak. No? Which alam natin, doubtful yun. Di ba?
Okay, sir. We are actually coordinating with the DOH for the regularization of this and the PRC. There is memorandum circular issued as to validation first with the register as to who are these midwives in case that the document for registration is delayed registration.
It's a balancing act. No?
Yes.
It's really, we cannot, Mr. Chairman, we cannot tighten it so much because our constituents will be the one disenfranchised. But we cannot loosen it too much because it's the criminal syndicates who will abuse that loosened policy. You know? So really, it's a balancing act.
If I may just add, earlier we were discussing with Senator Win. For example, yung requirement ng birth certificate for education. Perhaps when it comes to foreigners, or di ba, we can be strict. But when it comes to our own citizens, our own children, maybe we can open it up a bit and be less, di ba? For example, sasabihin, kung bureaucratic, sasabihin, hindi ka pwede mag-enroll kasi wala kang birth certificate eh. Eh, ba't di na lang, kasi di namin alam saan ka ilalagay, anong grade. Eh, ba't di na lang magkaroon ng assessment? O, ano ba ang capacity nito? Walang birth certificate, pero mukhang ang kaya nito ay grade 2. O di, hindi na kailangan ng birth certificate. They can probably, in other words, if it's education, if it's health, then maybe we should be less rigid, especially when it comes to, di ba, our citizens and our children. And then we can be stricter when it comes to itong ang ibang mga sectors or ang ibang mga tao. No? Go ahead, Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's why submit to the committee engineer itong balancing act, what requirements, because I want to take this opportunity to prevent what happened in the past, yung abuse of late registration process, but at the same time not so stringent, so that not so stringent that it can disenfranchise our constituents, no? Because that's not the case. So we have to really come up with a good balanced requirement so that we also prevent those people who want to exploit the late registration process. The other experience that we had doon sa Pogo kay Ms. Go Huaping aka Alice Go was the issuance of late registration certificates by different LGUs or different civil registrars at the LGU level, because it's really the civil registrar at the LGU level who has the power to issue birth certificates or late birth certificates. And I remember there was this issue in Davao del Sur. Tandaan niyo yun, engineer? No, na nag-issue sila ng 200,000 ba? Tama ba? If my memory serves me correctly. Basta thousands of late registration in one municipality. No, that's Santa Cruz, municipality of Santa Cruz. Do you remember that, engineer? No?
Yes.
And I remember at that time, I think the PSA or the National Civil Registrar mentioned that they are inadequate in terms of investigating and also penalizing this local civil registrar. So in the bill, meron na ngayong, in Section 12, meron na ngayong investigative power of the National Civil Registrar, and it can also it also has oversight over the local civil registrar. My first question is, doon sa mga nangyari in the past, have we filed cases against erring local civil registrar? I remember there were also investigations in, if I'm not mistaken, in Cagayan, in Kalinga, may mga pockets of anomalous issuance of birth certificates. In all of those investigations that you did, have you filed any cases against a local civil registrar?
Sir, if I may ask my team from the legal service for the updates on these filed cases.
Because my point there is we're strengthening your office, we're strengthening PSA. We also want to identify gaps where we can plug in unscrupulous individuals from issuing late birth certificates. And devolve kasi ang issuance, di ba? Devolve ang issuance ng birth certificates. But that devolution also has problems because PSA cannot monitor now all of these local civil registrars nationwide. And at the same time, they're appointed by the mayor. No? So their loyalty is to the mayor, not to the PSA. Pero if they will issue irregular or anomalous birth certificates, it's not the mayor who will be liable, it's the PSA, because you're the ones who should ensure that we have birth certificates that are correct and valid. So first question is, have we filed cases? Second question is, what are the gaps?
Yes. Good noon, Mr. Chair and the members of this committee. Attorney Eliezer Ambatali po from PSA Legal Service. Yes, we have some filing of cases, but this is through our law enforcement agencies. We usually endorse cases together with the National Bureau of Investigation for these cases, especially that this involves either graft cases or some violations of criminal acts. So in most of our investigations that we found violations of the civil registration and other laws, we endorse it to the NBI, and the NBI together with the PSA regional offices and provincial offices conduct investigation and case build up. And around 12 of these cases are already endorsed to the NBI, and were already some of these four of these are already with the prosecutors level, Your Honor. And in terms of the gap, we saw that during the investigation, the gap really is that there's lack of oversight between the national central repository or the civil registrar general and the municipal and city civil registrar generals, because of the powers that is governing the municipal and city civil registrar generals, no. um the reason for that is that some of the local civil registrars are um uh, implying the local autonomy, Your Honor. That's why we want to propose under this CRBS law that there is a clear power of the civil registrar general to conduct investigation and visitorial power, and that's the I think, and we think that it's the missing link between this um, uh, proliferation of fraud. There should be checks and balances of the things that is happening on the ground, and an oversight at the national level. I think that granting the expanded power to the civil registrar general would put order and the harmony in the rules that is governing on the ground. Because right now, although there is a technical supervision on the part of the civil registrar general, this is only on the policy level. At least that's a clear provision on under the old civil registration law. But if we try to look at it, the monitoring should not be restricted on the policy level, but also in the implementation as well. And I think the expansion of the powers of the civil registrar general should be embedded in the new law, Your Honors.
Does the proposed measures cover that gap that you mentioned?
Yes, Your Honor. There's a certain provision on the visitorial powers of the civil registrar general, to and also the a stronger statement that the civil registrar general can file cases against this the erring local civil registrar general.
Right now, you go through the NBI. You don't find
NBI, and also we endorse it to the local chief executive right now, Your Honor.
But in this proposed measure under Section 12, can cost the filing. So diretso na.
Diretso na po yung.
So you don't have to go through other agencies or the local government units. You can,
Yes.
after your investigation, you can file directly.
Administratively, Your Honor.
Administratively.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Okay. Okay. So if you have any more suggestions to improve that, just submit to the committee.
Yes,
Because
we
that's
will
one of the
include that.
gaps that came out during the last hearings, that the hands of the civil registrar national.
Opo, Your Honor. And I just want to emphasize that some of the local civil registrars po kasi kapag send kami ng notice to investigate, some of our local civil registrars would write us denying ang entry to the PSA to conduct investigation, or at least visitorial visit man lang para ma-check yung compliance ng local civil registrars natin And they are imposing like a data privacy provision or either local autonomy. Yun po yung
Local
nagiging
autonomy, yes.
Opo. Ang nagiging challenge po ng PSA right now, that's why we are very much pushing for the suggestion na meron talagang visitorial power ang
Well,
civil
this is,
register.
first of all, the birth certificate or the issuance of vital statistics document, particularly the birth certificate. It's so important because right now, all of our documents require birth certificates, passports, driver's license, national ID, employment. If you go to NBI, they will request that. So the most basic, the most fundamental document for any Filipino is the birth certificate. So once that's fraudulent, mayroon ng domino effect, fraudulent na rin yung iba, no? So that's why I subscribe that there must be check and balance in the issuance of birth certificates or vital statistics documents, because if we just rely solely on the local and there's no check and balance, it can be abused, no? In the case in point ngayon sa Davao del Sur, I think I remember during the hearing, parang there was a fee. I think it was ang package yata niya is about 200,000. Tama ba?
300,000.
300,000.
Kasi tatlong documents po yun, birth certificate, driver's license, saka passport.
Correct. Yeah. 300,000 package deal na, may fixer. The fixer will arrange your birth certificate, late registration ng preferably ang kanilang process. Then they will get you a driver's license and they will get you a passport. So, kasi dugtong-dugtong na yan eh. No, and then you become a Filipino instantly, no, for 300,000. No? So, and that's what we want to prevent by having this check and balance. No? And lastly, Mr. Chairman, on the cancellation, right now the only mode of cancellation is through the courts. Tama, attorney?
Yes, Your Honor.
So even the documents is obviously fraudulent. In the case of Alice Go, we saw that the parents were not married because there were no marriage certificate. The parents did not also have birth certificates themselves, but they declared they're Filipinos. So all of those are clearly fraudulent, but you still have to go through the courts.
Yes, sir.
But with this bill at in section 87, the PSA through a special committee can now cancel the birth certificates, correct? That's the proposal.
The proposal is to create a special committee composed of agencies, 3 or 4 agencies, to rule on the cancellation of the birth certificate of certain individuals. There are only 2 scenarios, no? So foreign nationals po at saka fraudulently acquired.
Fraud in the registration of vital event
Of foreign nationals po.
of foreign nationals, and violation of civil registration laws, including those involving national interest.
Yes,
But these are only foreign nationals.
Yes po.
So how does that work? Meron siyang Filipino birth certificate, 'di ba?
Opo.
Ano mo malaman to foreign national siya? Hawak niya Filipino birth certificate.
Opo, nangyayari po ito sa yun nga po sa local civil registrar. Nare-register po siya using fraudulently acquired documents like a barangay certification, yung mga affidavit na ang affiant po noon ay fictitious din. In the case of Go Huaping, we cannot even tell kung existing po talaga yung nanay. Kasi nagtanong-tanong po kami doon sa barangay nila na sinasabi doon, wala namang ganun na tao. There's a valid registration on its face doon sa may per document. Pero kung titingnan mo yung mga ibang circumstances po, and this is dito na po yung dumadating yung ano yung pag-i-interview, doon mo siya malalaman talaga kung ano kung ito ba talaga ay Pilipino kasi some of the foreign nationals cannot even speak Tagalog or even English po. So doon pa lang malalaman mo na it's a red flag na hindi siya Pilipino. So but there are some cases pero hindi naman madami na na talagang bihasa sa Tagalog pero hindi talaga siya Pilipino, something like that. Pero bibihira lang po 'yon. But most likely yung mga nag-a-appear na meron talagang dokumento na or birth certificate na Filipino sila, kapag kinausap mo sila hindi sila nakakapagdiretso ng Tagalog. So, yun po yung paraan natin that would really capture kung sino talaga yung mga foreign nationals that have acquired birth certificate. This cannot be done by PSA alone, but by our relying parties like the DFA has mechanisms to detect that. I think the Bureau of Immigration also has a way to do that, and some other agencies like LTO can also probe questions to detect yung mga ganun na mga scenarios na foreigners sila pero may birth certificate.
I know the scenario being contemplated here. In the case ni Go Huaping, 'di ba, maraming tao nagtataka bakit hindi pa kina-cancel yung kanyang birth certificate. I remember that there were people clamoring because people thought na it's obvious that she's not Filipino, obvious that her birth certificate was issued through fraudulent documents. But it took time to cancel, in fact months, to cancel because it's a court decision. So people were asking bakit hindi ka agad na-cancel. Now, I think that is the reason why we have this provision here in this law. Tama, attorney?
Yes, Your Honor. One is the expediency of the filing of a petition for cancellation of a birth certificate or civil registry document. This is covered under Rule 108 of the Rules of Court, and this is a lengthy judicial process. So that's the main reason why we want to have the special committee. Another reason, Your Honor, is the cost. No, so for one case like the case of Go Huaping, the government spent around $500,000 for this one case alone. So if we are going to pursue around 1,600, which that's the number right now, Your Honor, that we have endorsed to the Office of the Solicitor General, 1,600 petitions, our budget will be drained if that's the cost that we are looking right now. And also the logistics is it's a lot of burden, it's a pain in our systems, both on the part of the OSG and also the PSA.
You've endorsed 1,600 petitions for cancellation.
Yes.
How many ang na-cancel na doon?
Nasa CA pa rin po yung kay Go Huaping. We have a hearing right now, hearing on April sa case naman ni Sheila.
Okay. But out of the 1,600, how many have been acted on by the courts? Dalawa pa lang?
One pa lang po. Mahaba po talaga siya.
The point kasi therein is, Mr. Chairman, while the birth certificate has not been canceled, the individual still holds a passport. Diba? Still holds, hindi naman kinakancel, tama po ba, Asak? Hindi naman kaagad kinakancel ng DFA yan.
Under the passport law, the cancellation also comes through the order of the court. So we have to wait for it also.
So, while the itong 1,600, while it's waiting for its day in court, its disposition, the passport is still active, and that person can still travel around, can still use it to acquire other documents. So that's the consequence that why a more efficient manner should be contemplated, so that yung mga sobrang obvious can be acted upon administratively. The only side lang we need to think about is abuse. Baka naman ma-abuse tong, kasi ngayon di na courts eh, no? It's tatlong tao, no? So only 3 persons will decide now to cancel that birth certificates. That's the other side that I'm also worried about, no, or concerned about, because of it's easier now. Before, during the courts, you have a lengthy process. Matagal lang nga, magastos, but at least there's due process. Here, I know there will be due process, but it will be done administratively. No? So we need to just be mindful of that. No? Yeah, go ahead, engineer.
In relation to this filing of appropriate cases on the fraudulent birth certificate of foreign nationals, we propose for the inclusion of the power to block or refuse the issuance, because well, there's no pending case, there's no legal basis, strong legal basis for PSA to hold the issuance. But we assure you also that prior to the filing of a case, we do a thorough fact-finding investigation, like what mentioned a while ago by Attorney Butch. They go to barangay level to check if the barangay did issue this certification, even the churches who issued the baptismal certificate, and they interview also government or parties that issued the supporting documents for the delayed registration. Prior to that, once we have a complete fact-finding investigation, that's when we block temporarily for issuance the birth certificate, so that these foreign nationals can no longer acquire more copies of the documents to use in their transactions, to probably to claim or to set aside their properties. Yeah, that's the objective, sir, why we included that provision on the blocking or the refusal to issue the birth certificates.
Yes. Well, for the information of Senator Gatchalian, a number of the measures have also increased the penalties for violations, forgeries, etc. My understanding is 10 pesos lang ata yung penalty noon, ano? And not more than 200 pesos. Diba? So we will, so now as a deterrent, we have to increase the penalties, and a number of the provisions of the proposed measures provide for bigger penalties, larger penalties. I think including, siguro isama na rin yung administrative provisions on administrative penalties for government employees involved in such illegal or violations of the proposed measures.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On the last note here, on the cancellation, I do support this done administratively because it's more efficient. However, I'll throw this to the PSA to also think about the balancing act. Everything is a balancing act here, so that we will have enough safeguards that and also due process should be exercised once a decision is rendered. So let's think about how to include some safeguards here in this provision in section 88 in particular. No, I do support this because with our experience in the past, kay Go Huaping, until now nga nasa CA pa siya. So yung 1,600, dalawa pa lang yung naka-cancel. No? Tama?
Actually, isa pa lang po yung na-decided yung ng RTC. Maghi-hearing pa po pre-trial. Hindi pa ato po.
Correct.
Tama ba? Mag-pre-trial pa lang po yung kay Sheila.
Yung 1,599, may passport siya, meron siyang national ID, 'di ba? Meron siyang driver's license. And that's the worrisome part, because that person, baka most likely foreigner siya, pwede siyang umikot-ikot, bumili ng lupa, baka nga tumakbo pa. mayor ulit o ng congressman o ng ibang posisyon. No, that's the concerning part about that. No, so that's why I support an efficient way of addressing this fraudulent birth certificates. However, balancing lang natin that will not be abused as well. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Win. May we request the PSA to submit to us a list of the 1,200 plus cases? Is that 600 cases? Just for the information of the committee, so that when we defend the measure on the floor, we have the data and can defend it properly. No? Yes, thank you, thank you. I guess we can now move to the next anti-scalping.
Nasa local government. The text daw po nila kung
Okay, can you ask? But we can proceed. Thank you for the resource persons who have participated in the two previous measures. You can now be excused. We can now proceed with the, yes ma'am, the anti-scalping measure. Sige. Considering that they're still in the holding room, we will suspend for 1 minute. Hearing is suspended. I think we might have to reschedule yung I apologize, no, but due to we have a 1:30 all senators caucus, so it hindi na schedule or na delay yung information about that all senators caucus. So I was of the earlier view na kaya natin habulin lahat. But because nga may 1:30 kami, we will have to reschedule yung Justice Reform Commission. My apologies, but I understand PIDS is here. If you can submit your position paper, the NBI also. Ano, NBI is UP Law Center is here also, and the Ombudsman. I apologize that we may not have enough time to tackle the last measure, but that we will reschedule. But in the meantime, if you can submit your position papers already, I feel the Justice Reform Commission is critical, especially at this juncture in the country's governance challenges. And we would appreciate your participation in the next hearing. But so we will have to excuse you, but please feel free to have the lunch. You can be excused. And again, our apologies. What is CUP? Okay. TicketNet? Yes. Ovation Productions. Hearing is resumed. We now proceed with the third anti-ticket scalping act measures that are pending. We can begin with sino bang mauna? The Department of Justice. Where is the DILG representative? We'll have them in the next meeting. No? Okay. Department of Justice, State Council Tadifa, do you have a position paper? Wala pa. So you'll just submit? Yes, please. No. What about the DTI? Yes.
Good morning, Your Honor. Meron po.
Attorney.
Catherine Padon, Your Honor.
Oh, your name is not here. It says Attorney Marvin. Okay. Catherine Padon, E-Commerce Enforcement and Complaints Division, and Attorney Marvin Tandang. What is your name?
Reference, Andayo po.
Tandayo.
Yes po.
Okay. Do you have a position paper on the measures pending? Please proceed. You have the floor. And can we focus on highlights?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, go ahead.
Your Honor, for the Department of Trade and Industry, Your Honor, we are honored and privileged to be part of the implementing to be part of the one of the implementing agencies of the proposed anti-ticket scalping law, Your Honor. So, Your Honor, at present, Your Honor, the regulation of ticket scalping exists under the local ordinances, Your Honor, being implemented by the local government units, Your Honor. However, Your Honor, although these ordinances impose penalties, the enforcement remains limited, Your Honor, because the national scope or scope of the national enforcement of this violation, Your Honor, and the rampant online distribution of selling, offering for sale of admission tickets online has not been properly or adequately addressed by these local ordinances, Your Honor. So, Your Honor, the Department of Trade and Industry highly supports the enactment of the anti-ticket scalping law, since our present laws, national laws, such as the Republic Act number 7581 or those or the Price Act, Your Honor, only deals with the regulation po of basic necessities and prime commodities, which that are not covering the selling of admission tickets, Your Honor. Also, Your Honor, Republic Act number 7394, Your Honor, pertains only to transactions involving business and business to consumer transactions, Your Honor, as well as Republic.
Shouldn't that be covered?
Yes, Your Honor, sorry.
Consumer Protection Act, for example.
The Republic Act number 7394, Your Honor, or the Consumer Act of the Philippines, basically pertains to business to consumer transactions, Your Honor. Also, the Republic Act number 11697, Your Honor, which that basically covers po yung business to business and business to consumer transaction, Your Honor. So, based po dun sa draft bills, Your Honor, we observe, Your Honor, that the prohibited acts po pertains to activities po, activities conducted by the scalpers po, usually pertains po dun sa consumer to consumer transactions po, Your Honor. When we say consumer to consumer transactions, Your Honor, parang casual siya, one time only transaction, Your Honor. Basically, Your Honor, not in the course of their usual ordinary business transactions, Your Honor.
Well,
yes, sir.
maybe you should test it, because,
Yes, sir.
excessive markups, exploiting consumer demand,
Yes, Your Honor.
which is under the Consumer Act of the Philippines.
Yes, Your Honor.
So-
But
so-
the activities usually involve consumer to consumer transaction, which is outside the ambit po of the Consumer Act, Your Honor. However, Your
Well, you're
Honor,
assuming that it's a consumer. What if there is collusion between the consumer and the ticketing or
yes,
the
sir.
or the producer of the
Yes, sir.
concert, for example, then that's a business to
Business
consumer.
to consumer transactions
Oh,
already, Your Honor.
So maybe you should test it. I mean,
Yes, Your Honor.
it might take some time before we can pass this law.
Yes.
Baka magtagal. Pero yung concerts are every month meron eh.
Yes, Your Honor.
Di ba? Tapos every month nakapila ng napakahaba. Pagdating doon sa dulo, ubos na
Meron
yung ticket. Ang aga-agang nauubos.
Yes, Your Honor.
Doon pa lang, sino may ganun karaming pera para ma-block, makuha kaagad ng mga ticket at sold out na?
Yes, Your Honor.
Hindi consumer yun. Di ba? Baka sindikato yun.
Yes, Your Honor.
In
that case, Your
illegal
Honor,
business.
Yes, Your Honor. In that case, Your Honor, we will further investigate with the facts and circumstances of the case po to fall under if it falls po under the ambit of the Consumer Act po, Your Honors.
Yes, and let them question you in court.
Yes, Your Honor.
But at least masasabi ninyong ginagawa ninyo yung trabaho ninyo at
Yes, Your
hindi
Honor.
walang mapuntahan ng mga consumer natin, yung mga mamimili natin. Kawawa naman dahil
Yes, sir.
at the mercy. No? Biro mo, ano ba yun, yung kay Olivia Rodrigo? 2,000 lang yung ticket pero sa presyo, pero ang bentahan 10,000, 20,000. Di ba? Sorry, you wanted to say something? Live Nation, you were raising your hand? No? Okay. Go ahead, please.
Okay, Your Honor, may I have permission po to refer to my notes po to accurately present the position po of the department, Your Honor.
Go ahead, please.
Okay,
But
Your
again, just the salient features, no, and
Yes,
highlights.
Your Honor. On the prohibited acts, Your Honor, on the definition of ticket scalping, Your Honor, the Bureau notes that the Senate bills adopt varying approaches, including fixed markup thresholds in SBN 556, 226, and 1597, and broader standards po based on excessive or unauthorized pricing, Your Honor. Under SBN 1216 and 1630, Your Honor. The Bureau recommends adopting a clear and uniform definition that is practical and enforceable, Your Honor. The definition should not rely solely on fixed percentage, Your Honor, thresholds, as this may be easily circumvented and may create challenges in enforcement, particularly in digital environments where seller can split transactions, bundle tickets, or shift pricing across platforms, Your Honors. Instead, ticket scalping may be defined based on, number one, Your Honors, the intent to resell tickets for profit, and second, Your Honors, unauthorized resale of tickets at prices exceeding face value, Your Honors. Second, Your Honors, as to the exceptions, Your Honor, exceptions should be drafted with sufficient clarity to distinguish incidental or good faith transfers, Your Honors, from systematic or profit-driven resale activities, Your Honor. Safeguards may include po consideration of frequency, volume, intent to profit, Your Honors, and whether the seller po is engaged in commercial conduct, Your Honor. Third, Your Honor, regarding po dun sa duties and responsibilities of entities engaged in the business of event ticketing, event production, and event services, Your Honors. Ticketing platforms, event organizers, and related service providers play a crucial role po in preventing ticket scalping, especially in digital environments, Your Honor. So ECB po, the DTI ECB supports provisions that require po these entities to first, Your Honors, implement robust anti-bot and anti-fraud mechanisms to prevent automated or unfair ticket purchases. Second, Your Honors, maintain transparency in ticket pricing and availability, including displaying face values and other relevant information. And third, Your Honors, adapt and enforce internal compliance activities by employees, contractors, or third parties, Your Honors. With the institution of complaint, Your Honors, and or enforcement, Your Honors, the DTI supports the provisions authorizing appropriate government agencies to institute complaints for violations of the Act po, Your Honors. The Bureau also welcomes the proposal on the designation of the Department of Trade and Industry as the primary implementing agency po in coordination with relevant
enforcement authorities, Your Honor. Consistent with the institutional mandate, Your Honors, ECB affirms, E-Commerce Bureau affirms that its participation in the implementation of the Act shall be confined to matters involving online transactions and electronic ticket platforms, Your Honors. Within this scope, the Bureau will cooperate with relevant agencies subject to applicable laws, Your Honors. With regard po dun sa penalties, the Department of Trade and Industry notes that the bills impose graduated fines and or imprisonment for repeated violations, with certain measures po expressly recognizing corporate liability, Your Honors. That would be all, Your Honors.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Maraming salamat. We now proceed sa NBI. Attorney Heronaga?
Yes, sir.
Yes, go ahead. Ano po ang position po ninyo dito sa anti-scalping?
The NBI expresses its support for Senate Bill number 226, otherwise known as the Anti-Ticket Scalping Act. The proposed measure provides a clear statutory definition of prohibited acts, establishes measurable thresholds, and creates specific penalties. This clarity will greatly enhance law enforcement's ability to investigate, build prosecutable cases, and deter organized ticket scalping activities that undermine consumer protection and fair access to entertainment events. The NBI recognizes that large-scale scalping operations today are often digitally facilitated, sometimes involving automated purchasing tools, coordinated reselling networks, and structured financing arrangements. A specific law like this will significantly strengthen investigative and prosecutorial action. The NBI submits respectfully that the passage of this bill will provide law enforcement with a clear legal mandate, improve deterrence, and promote fair consumer access to entertainment events. Your Honor, the NBI will submit our position paper once it is signed by the director of the Bureau.
Just a quick question kasi ang information that we receive, ang natatanggap namin, yung pag-purchase ng tickets online, gumagamit ng mga bots.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, doon pa lang, hindi ba cybercrime na yun?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, kung cybercrime yun under the Cybercrime Prevention Act, meron kayong pwedeng kasuhan o meron ng basis to proceed with this investigating itong bot-enabled purchases, hindi ba?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you have a cybercrime division sa NBI.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, maybe pagdating ng budget hearing ninyo sa 2027 budget, tatanungin ko sa inyo, anong ginagawa ninyo para itong mga bots na nagaganap tuwing nandyan yung mga concerts, nandyan si Olivia Rodrigo, nandyan ang BTS, nandyan ng Army and 18. Di ba?
Yes, sir. Noted, sir.
In other words, it's happening under our noses. As we speak, as every time merong concert, nangyayari yung bot purchases, hindi ba?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay, so kahit na wala pa tong batas na anti-scalping, pwede mo nang i-track sa usapin ng cybercrime law.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay, so when your budget, pagka yung budget ng NBI sa August, tatanungin ko sa inyo, ano ang ginawa ninyo after this hearing of February 23 regarding actions taken para habulin under the cybercrime law itong mga bot-enabled purchases ng mga tickets in bulk.
Noted, sir.
No, it's crazy kasi bibili nila bot-driven, bibili nila ng 2,000 piso, tapos ibibenta nila ng 20,000. Tapos ilalabas sa iba-iba, Facebook, di ba? TikTok, di ba? Instagram, chat groups. So may digital footprint na eh. 'Di ba? Habulin na lang. Of course, I'm trying to simplify it, but maybe it's a bit more complicated than that. But there are, 'di ba? May digital footprints na ito. Meron kayong
That is correct,
cybercrime division. So ang challenge ko sa NBI, sampulan naman ninyo, ha? Kasi sabi ko nga regular itong concerts. So regular din yung pang-aabuso do sa ating mamimili. Kawawa. 'Di ba? Talagang biro mo pumipila ng napakahaba tapos pagdating doon sa ubos na. Ang bilis-bilis. There's no other way to explain it but somebody is gaming the system. 'Di ba? Paano kayo? Yun ang lagi tanong eh. Ang haba namin ng pila pagdating namin doon. Sorry. Pagdating namin, sold out. Isang araw lang ata, di ba? One day sold out. Or oras lang sold out. Somebody is gaming the system. Kawawa ang ating mamimili. Kaya kailangan nating hanapan. Kung wala pa yung batas, kaya natin pinapasa itong batas to. But offhand, meron ka ng cybercrime do. So, again, please tell your director sa next budget. Tatanungin ko.
Today lang na-appoint.
Today lang na-appoint.
That's
Buena
a
mano. Okay? Sige, thank you. Please submit your NBI.
Yes,
We
sir.
can now proceed with... yes, please go ahead.
Quick intervention. I heard, Mr. Chairman, that a lot of this scalping happens sa digital. So may mga bots. Sa mga nagbebenta ng tickets, di ba meron din naman, I would assume, merong anti-bots. Di ba? Merong, I know, one of the security features, merong mga puzzle, merong mga dapat kang sagutin, meron kang dapat inputs. So yung mga nagbebenta ng tickets, don't you use that technology also to prevent mga bots from being used to scalper? Anyone from our mga ticket sellers natin? Anyone?
Ticketnet maybe can
Yes po.
explain.
Hi, good afternoon po. Yes, we have po what we call the CAPTCHA. Yung pong nabanggit nyo, Senator, no? That's CAPTCHA, yung pipiliin ano yung motorcycles dun sa images, ganyan. And then we also have the SIF tool. Ginagamit po yun na anti-fraud. So, meron ng mga data rin yung tool namin globally, no? It identifies and records yung mga bots para nape-prevent siya. So, meron naman po. We have naman.
Hindi ba enough na yon to prevent scalping? Kasi the way I understand it now, ang scalping cyberspace, no? Kasi everything's being sold in the internet and everything's being bought through the internet. So, hindi ba enough yung technology na yon to prevent scalpers from hoarding tickets?
Sa bots, sir, yes. That's the preventive measures that we have. Although we cannot say na talagang walang nakakalusot whatsoever. But we keep on updating naman our technology for us to be able to fight. Kasi the scalpers and the bots, they get high-tech din po as years go by. So we also have to keep up and improve our technology as well. May isa lang din po akong ino-note. Sometimes, hindi na rin po bots yung kalaban. They will sell post tickets available, but then wala talaga silang tickets po. No? So I don't know if it's also cybercrime. Opo, magpo-post po sila. For example, Olivia Rodrigo tickets. Yeah, exactly. They're scamming na po. And then sabi nila they have electronic tickets and then they will send it. Pagdating sa venue, hindi po i-accept yung tickets nila because those are fake tickets po. So digitalize na rin po yung pag-fake ng tickets.
So, meron silang digital ticket.
Yes po. They
Na
have
peke
electronic
lang.
tickets. Opo.
So dadalhin nila sa concert.
Yes.
Tapos hindi pala...
Yes. Our turnstiles will not be able to recognize it po.
Of course, you should come out with warnings also, no?
Opo.
Because kayo ang Di ba?
We have po sa website, sir, and even our marketing are also pushing for the anti.
So do you have a written position paper? Maybe since will already ask them for your position on the measures.
While we will be submitting po on our official position paper,
Just the highlights.
yeah, we just wanted to highlight. Now, of course, we welcome and fully support the proposed anti-scalping bills. We just wanted to point out lang po a few preliminary items for consideration. Number one, any admission tickets sold at a price higher than the printed ticket price and sold outside the authorized or official outlets should automatically be considered scalping. Number two, our position would be reselling should not be legitimized. There should not be a secondary market for the ticket. Any seller that is not the official ticket provider designated by the event organizer should be considered a scalper. Then number three, online platforms and social media networks should also be held accountable if they allowed scalp tickets to be posted and sold to their platforms. Kasi kalat po siya, sir, sa X, which the old Twitter and Facebook. And then number four, event organizers, ticket providers, and venue providers should be given authority to cancel scalp tickets without liability for refund. And then number five, buyers who knowingly purchase tickets from scalpers should also face penalties. If buyers understand the penalties and consequences, then demand for scalp tickets would likely decrease po. Yun lang po.
Thank you for that. We can now proceed with maybe Ovations Production, your position. Just highlights, please proceed.
Okay. Ibang aspect naman ito ng ticket selling, no? As concert promoter for the past 50 years, starting in the 1970s, we are against ticket scalping. It will be difficult, however, to adhere to certain provisions of your proposed act, as certain practices that we legitimately do could be in violation of your proposed act per se. Example, we occasionally tie up with certain organizations who will buy a block or bulk of concert tickets, block buyers we call them, at wholesale or discounted prices, and sell them at higher than 10% of prices for their fundraising purposes. Organizations such as school alumni associations, church groups, private groups needing funds to pursue their social and civic advocacies. Our sole concern as concert promoters is the sale of our tickets. It is very difficult to break even if certain acts we promote seem to be currently hot or strong box office attractions. Our costs are high, and to put limitation on the manner we or our block buyers will sell tickets will certainly not be helpful to our business or fundraising purposes without further amendments or qualifiers to your proposed act. Perhaps what we can do immediately, which we actually do already, is to be more strict in limiting the purchase of tickets to 4 tickets per person, which could prove inconvenient to certain families or large groups who would want to sit together during a concert. But that is one compromise, I think, that many can live with. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Pati yung, well, of course, it's a different thing. Yung block, they buy ano yun? Block buying, di ba? That might also fall under, halimbawa, may fundraising, may gusto nilang mag-premiere ng kanila, di ba? Nung pelikula ni Sharon. So we have to be clear about the definition, no? But otherwise that may fall under scalping.
Yes.
Okay. We understand. Do you have a position paper written? If you do, please submit to us.
Well, yes, I can submit.
Yes, thank you. We go to Live Nation, PH.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. This is the highlight.
How are you related to the Secretary of Interior and the Ombudsman? No? Any relation?
Relatives of my husband.
Okay. Please go ahead, ma'am.
So Live Nation Philippines fully supports the state's policy objective of protecting Filipino consumers from fraudulent, deceptive, and exploitative ticket scalping practices, unauthorized resale, bot-driven hoarding, counterfeit ticketing, and artificial supply manipulation undermine public trust and distort market access. We'll just submit the full position paper.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Pulp Live World. Live Nation is a ticketing what promoter. Okay.
Hello po.
So before you proceed, what have you promoted? Oh, so you were the Olivia Rodrigo example. Diba? Diba she said all tickets should be 2,000 or 1,500 pa. Because nga she wanted to make it available to everyone. And then the scalpers come in and mess it all up. Would you care to explain your experience? I mean, anong nangyari ron?
Well, of course, we sell through a ticket company. So, and then these bots, these scalpers, they somehow are able to, I don't know, bypass the system because
And it's a lot of money, no?
I know ticket companies have a queuing system, and the scalpers somehow manage to bypass this. We don't know how, but they're able to buy like not just one transaction but multiple transactions. We set a limit to the number of tickets, like for example, 4 tickets per buyer, and somehow after they buy 4 in one transaction, they're able to still log in, buy again, buy again. So these will be multiple number of tickets in so many transactions.
Would you have a ballpark figure as to magkano ang kalakaran, magkano ang, you know, it runs in the millions, no? Tens of millions, di ba?
For scalpers?
Yes.
I would think because it seems to be a syndicate talaga.
Yeah.
And it's not just scalpers who make a big profit per ticket.
Mhm.
There's also ticket assistants. They call themselves ticket assistants online.
Okay.
So somehow they're able to guarantee that they'll be able to get a ticket. So once they have sure buyers, they get these orders, and then I think they only charge probably maybe 1,000 to 5,000 pesos. So these are ticket
Additional on top
assistants
of, yeah.
on top of the ticket.
Yeah.
Yes, and actually even for events that we have not started ticket selling yet, they already get reservations.
Okay, that's interesting. Sige, ma'am, Miss Happy C, go. Pulp Live World is also a promoter?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, ma'am.
Good
What
afternoon.
programs or what groups have you brought in?
We were the first one to bring in K-pop in the country.
Oh, okay.
So we had, like, when I first joined the promotion scene, that was really my concern immediately, the ticket scalping, because since being the first promoter of K-pop, it was a niche market, and being a niche market, I know the fans themselves. So when I see them on their seats and it's different people, I would really wonder why. So where did the ticket go? So after a while, trial and error with the ticketing companies, with TicketNet, SM Tickets, we actually tried to implement a lot of ways to battle the scalping. First, we did the putting your name on the tickets. I put the name on the tickets, and then I was actually fought online by all the scalpers. They were like, try to find us. And then which I did, I found them. But I think it worked in the beginning, but then after a while they will find loopholes. So after a while, I get fought with fans themselves, because what if there's an emergency which they cannot use their tickets and they really need to sell it resell their tickets. So that was also a concern there. So there's so many ways that we have tried to actually fight it. And like I have reviewed the proposed bill, which I am so grateful for, but there are actually a lot of empty areas there as well. We're in, for example, it says there that unauthorized resellers, like, but there's no specific definition of what authorized resellers are. Who are the authorized resellers? Like, so there would be an application for it. It might actually have more corruption if you give that much power to one entity. So with that, I think it should fall under the promoter's discretion or responsibility to resell, to be able to find ways on how the possibility of these fans, if they cannot attend, to resell it at a specific amount. But then there's also the provision there for a 10% bracket if you're going to increase the price. But there's also so many loopholes there, because what if people just, yeah, add 10% on the ticket price, but they add like handling fee, service fee, all those other fees, then it will become as high as 60,000. There was a show that we were selling the ticket for 10,000. It actually became 80,000 for foreign fans. Yes. And foreigners and foreign fans, the problem is they're very willing to pay that much. That's why it's actually not helping, because the scalpers are empowered by it. And then another problem there was, there's also the problem of the fans. The fans would complain if they're not able to resell their ticket. So for our position, of course, we love the new bill proposed, but I think there should be a lot of back and forth discussion as well with the rights of the individual fans.
Your position paper and your comments to be in writing to be submitted to us so that the committee can harmonize and include some of your proposals. No?
Thank you.
Thank you. The SM Group, Attorney Ronel Papa or Josefina Remolio, who will speak? Okay, go ahead, ma'am.
We will submit our position paper after the hearing. In the meantime, we say that we in SM fully support the proposed bills intended to curtail ticket scalping. We would like to achieve equal access to limited tickets by our concert and event patrons and fans without inflated costs that neither benefit our concert artists and event promoters. We adopt advanced software that will prevent automated bots from massive acquisition of tickets and website crashing. We have endeavored the creation of layer of gateway that cannot easily be bypassed and allow a first come first serve order purchase of tickets. Post review of ticket purchases is also conducted to ascertain legitimate ticket buyers from those hoarders of tickets for the purpose of resale. And to that, we also had canceled several purchases of tickets that violated our platform terms of use. Thank you.
Go to the LGUs. Ang nauna ata is Pasay. Kumusta? Go ahead, Mr. Religioso pala kayo. Sige, biro lang po. Office of Pasay City Administrator, Mr. Carlo Joseph Religioso. Go ahead. Inputs lang and highlights ng inyong position paper.
Yung Pasay City recognizes the importance of proposed anti-scalping bills currently under consideration. For more than 3 decades, Pasay City has been proactive in addressing ticket scalping through the strict enforcement of Ordinance Number 192, enacted in 1993. Today marks the 33rd anniversary of this ordinance, underscoring our long-standing commitment to protecting consumers and ensuring fair and equal access to event tickets. We remain steadfast in implementing this ordinance in close coordination with our partners from the Philippine National Police and other concerned departments. Those strengthened enforcement and interagency collaboration We continue to uphold order, fairness, and consumer protection within our jurisdiction. Pasay City remains fully committed to enforcing these penalties to deter illegal ticket scalping and protect the public from exploitation. In addition, we deploy monitoring teams during events to ensure compliance with the terms and conditions of the special permits issued by the city and to support our partners in proper implementation of regulations. However, we also recognize the need to adapt to changing times with the emergence of technology and the shift to online ticket selling. Scalping methods have evolved. This has created limitations in the full implementation of our ordinance as scalpers now operate through digital platforms that require a different enforcement approach. Well, thank you. Thank you, sir.
Yes, Senator Win.
Yeah, I was going to ask that dahil I would assume that the ordinance, the 30-year ordinance, contemplated the usual scalping sa labas nung Coliseum, sa labas ng concert hall. But right now, everything is digital. So from the point of view of Pasay City, how did you adapt to the digital world right now? Or it's still a big issue right now?
Actually, Your Honor, it's still an issue for Pasay City because our ordinance is naka-center lang siya sa yung face-to-face scalping. So that's why meron kami mga monitoring teams during events para lang ma-check ko yung yung venue if there are existing scalpers. Pero for the digital, wala pa kaming capabilities.
It's a percentage of that, no? In ticket sales?
Entertainment.
Yes, sir.
Amusement tax?
We charge them amusement tax po of 5%.
So right now, because of the scalping, you're not maximizing the amusement tax because that's a percentage of the value of the ticket.
Yes, Your Honor.
Diba? But if they will sell it, sabi nga ni Chairman, 10 times more, then you're not getting the true value of the sale.
Yes, Your Honor. At face value lang po yung amusement tax sa tickets.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Quezon City. Attorney Grapilon. How are you related to Joe?
He's my dad.
Okay. Give him my regards.
Thank you.
Sige, go ahead.
Yes, good afternoon, Your Honors. The position of QC is that we are in full support of this proposed bill. For just a background, Quezon City has not recently, this was in 2018, passed Ordinance SP 2744, which is very similar to the proposed bill. However, which also includes websites. However, due to the technology, we don't have that capability yet. Except that I know that QCPD has its own cybercrime unit, but they have not been doing that. So for the past year, in 2025, we're only able to catch 3 scalpers, and cases were not filed because in the ordinance you can give them an OVR or an ordinance violation receipt of 5,000 pesos. So we only caught 3 scalpers in 3 major events in Quezon City for 2025.
But that would be physical, no?
This was physical, not online.
Digital, not online. Okay. Thank you. Office of San Juan City Admin, Attorney Jennifer.
Yes, good
Reyes.
afternoon, Mr. Chair and Senator Gatchalian. So for City of San Juan po, before I proceed with our
Parang
comments,
artista yung pangalan, Jennifer Reyes. Ma'am, go ahead, sorry.
before I proceed po with our comments po, I would just like to add inputs on the ticket purchasing assistance po. So I think the scalpers has evolved already. Since the promoters already placed measures on how to prevent scalpers or those who are using bots. For example, as mentioned by Miss Happy C, they are now requiring the names of the ticket holders on the tickets. But for our personal experience, since we are also purchasing tickets, for example, K-pop concerts. I have friends who are willing to pay these people who are offering ticket purchasing assistance. So what they do is they are getting the credentials. For example, for SM tickets, you have to log into SM tickets for you to be able to purchase a ticket. What they do is they will ask for your credentials, and then they will use bots to bypass the system, and then they will just send you a link for you to be able to pay for the ticket. So your name will still appear on the ticket because essentially it's purchased through the app. So they just used your credentials. So I think we should also look into that. So also for our comments po, we would like to also define what an authorized resale platform is. So I think the events promoter or the organizers, as early as uh, the promotion period or before the ticket selling, they should or they should already identify the authorized resale platform. For example, in the US po kasi, there are websites where you are authorized to sell your tickets. And by that po, we can already flag those who are selling at a much higher price. So the one who's controlling the website can actually take down all the posts po for who are selling tickets at a higher price than the cost, the original.
Forgive my ignorance. How do they take it down?
I think it's with the IT people of the website na po.
Okay.
Those who are managing the website. So people will post the tickets for sale. For example, I was able to
Yes.
secure a ticket. I will post it. I can put whatever amount I want. So, but the owner of the website can actually see the amount. So, if ever it's high than the original cost, they can take down the post.
I'm not sure if the website administrator can do that, no? Because it may be a separate, diba?
Or at the back
Or at
end.
least flag it
Yes.
and then report it, maybe, but maybe hindi kayang i-take down, no? No? Unless the NBI and cybersecurity, you have powers to take down, diba? You have technology.
Yes, sir. We send request to the owner of the website, sir.
To?
We send requests to the owner of the website to take down the.
Yes. So that might be one provision in the law, you know, for we will see, di ba? Na the request for takedown is a possibility. Yes, please continue.
Sorry.
For San Juan po, we only have, I think, Phil Oil Eco Center. So mostly sporting activities po siya. So on our side po, we would like to also encourage the law enforcement units po to be able to authorize them to conduct monitoring operations and or entrapment operations. So ano po kasi, during sporting activities, for example, PVL, madami po talagang scalper sa site. And given po na may police station din inside the compound of Phil Oil, so I think if they have the express authority po to conduct these operations and to confiscate yung tickets being resold, so that would help us po to lessen the scalpers. Kasi on-site po talaga sila in our case sa Phil Oil.
And just a response to your point of takedown, the power to take down. Well, definitely all the platforms have the power to take down. Now, whether we will mandate them or not, that's an option. That in the law we will say Facebook, Instagram, etc. You will have to take down upon request of the NBI. Platforms that are involved in scalping. Also, it's something that we can look into, no? I think that's what you meant, no, Attorney Reyes? Okay. Anything else, please?
Last po is the clarification on legitimate resale, because as mentioned a while ago, there are those who are selling their tickets because they have emergencies, or for the example raised a while ago, yung mga block sale po. So I think we just have to differentiate what's scalping really is than those who are selling in good faith.
Bottom line for scalping is the producers are against scalping, and therefore, without their consent, then it's scalping, di ba? I guess that's where we can, then define exactly what scalping means. It's an effort to abuse the whatever. Basta kung walang consent ng producer, ano na yun, red flag na yun. Because pag may consent ng producer, kasama na yung block sale, di ba?
But still, I think we have to be specific na baka kasi we might be guilty of scalping based dun sa aming selling high-priced tickets.
Yeah. No, okay. Yeah, we will have to define that. Okay. DTI, are you done, ma'am? Attorney Reyes? Okay, go ahead, ma'am.
Sir Honor, regarding po dun sa takedown order, the e-commerce bureau has jurisdiction po over this online platforms po. We can issue takedown orders, compliance orders, and even blacklist orders, Your Honor. So if it is proven po, Your Honor, that these scalpers po connive with the businesses, Your Honors, we can issue takedown orders already, Your Honor. Okay din po yung suggestions ni attorney na i-define yung authorized resellers po. Like for instance, we can mandate them, Your Honor, to post the authorization or the like for instance, if we can mandate the registration of this authorized resellers, Your Honor, or in order for us to flag na kapag hindi naka post yung license number or yung apparent na yung violation. So the DTI na can order na po yung takedown ng links po, Your Honor.
I think the DTI will play a critical role.
Yes, Your Honor.
In all of this.
Yes, Your Honor.
And I'm confident.
Yes, Your Honor.
The DTI is probably the most professional,
Yes, Your
one of the most, if not the most professional of
Yes, Your
government departments. No.
Yes, Your Honor.
And therefore, it would do well for this law to be, under the purview of the DTI
Yes, Your
primarily.
Honor.
Sige, so we will note that.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And PNP, Police Colonel Pablito Asmod. Ano yung CCRAC?
Thank you, Your Honor. It is Crime Research and Analysis Center under the Directorate for Investigation and Detective Management, Your Honor. Your Honors, our directorates or the DADM had already submitted our comments and recommendation to the directorates for plans, which later submit the official position paper of the PNP, Your Honors. But for this hearing, I have the opening statement. If
Go
you
ahead,
permit me, Your
please.
Honor. Just to read the key points, Your Honor. The PNP recognizes and acknowledges the Senate of the Philippines' noble intention to enact timely and relevant legislation. This proposed bill provides a vital uniform legal frameworks necessary for the effective investigation and prosecution of individuals and organized syndicates. Scalping has evolved from street-level offense into an organized criminal enterprise. Furthermore, the proposed legislative measures are vital to maintaining public order and safeguarding consumer rights. By criminalizing scalping from financing to unauthorized reselling, law enforcement can effectively dismantle the networks that depriving the public of fair access to entertainment and sporting events. We assure this honorable committee of the PNP's unwavering support for this undertaking. We are fully committed to collaborating closely in drafting a law that both enforceable and just. That would be all, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. Sa DTI, or I'm not sure sinong makakaalam nito. Maybe the companies involved, the corporations involved, ticketing. What is the universe of the concert, how do you call it, scene? Meaning in terms of how much money annually ang concert industry I don't know if there's such data, no, because of course you'd like to know. For example, lang, I mean, about 3 years ago, digital media uh, was about 30 billion pesos a year. Is there any data as to entertainment? How much is the... Wala, no? Kasi iba-iba yan eh. May concert, may TV, may... No? But sana meron because we'd like to know how much, how much money is involved illegally. Di ba? Kasi if it's 2,150 and then they sell it for 20,000, so how much? Ano yung illegal component, di ba? Yung cost of the illegal, because taxes, etc. Di ba? Kung umabot ng billion yan, edi annually, di ba? It's really a cause for concern. But anyway, if we have data, if anyone from the industry can probably have a ballpark figure, kahit nasa live concerts na lang, halimbawa, di ba? Kung meron ba, please feel free to provide us the data so that we can better understand the universe within which this scalping phenomenon is taking place. Magkano yan? Magkano involved dyan? Okay, CUP, I think you're the only one left. Go ahead.
The Consumers Union of the Philippines, after conducting a careful review of the proposed Anti-Ticket Scalping Act, we strongly support a national law that closes the notable gap left by local ordinances to penalize those unauthorized sales channels. However, we just want to point out three major points. First, we express serious concerns over the evolution of ticket scalping into a highly organized, technology-driven, and often cross-border activity that continues to disadvantage Filipino consumers, even for events held abroad. One cited example involves a ticketing assistance service reportedly facilitating access to high-demand concerts in jurisdictions such as South Korea and Japan. In a documented instance, a ticket to the BTS World Tour with a face value of approximately 10,000 pesos was marketed to Filipino buyers for 374,150 pesos, an increase amounting to several thousand% and far exceeding the 10% to 15% limit proposed in the current Senate bills.
But the concert was where?
I think it was in Japan.
Oh. Okay.
In this regard, we respectfully recommend that the proposed measures clearly define the scope of its application, particularly in also including cross-border transactions. To ensure that the measure can be properly enforced, liability for selling tickets beyond the allowed price ceiling should at least cover resellers who are Filipino nationals, Philippine-based entities, or online accounts that operate from or specifically target buyers in the Philippines. So, secondly, we also underscore the urgent need to criminalize the use of automated softwares or bots, which now significantly distort the ticketing ecosystem. Available data indicates that in 2024, more than 80% traffic to entertainment ticketing platforms originated from automated systems designed to bypass the purchase limits and rapidly hoard ticket inventory.
80%?
Yes.
Where did you get the data? Sorry.
We were able to check some information online as to the...
You can include that in your... Yes, go ahead, please. Continue.
And lastly, we advocate for the stringent duties imposed upon event organizers and ticketing platforms to maintain market integrity. We support these entities. We would like to mandate that these entities post visible warnings against scalping, implement identity verification, and ensure transparency in pricing. That is all from the Consumers Union.
We'll appreciate your written position paper. Yung Olivia Rodrigo, ma'am, where was it held? What was the venue?
Philippine Arena, sir.
So Philippine Arena. And did you have similar experiences with your other from productions in other venues?
Yes.
SM for example?
Yes, MOA,
MOA
Arena, Araneta.
Is it possible, ma'am, from SM? Posible ba na, sabi kasi nila, what was your exact word? Basta bigla na, hindi namin alam. Di ba? Parang bigla na lang mataas na yung presyo at binibenta na sa online, di ba? And you don't know why. Posible ba na merong employees ang mga like not just SM, no, not just the Arena, Araneta, na kasabwat dun sa mga scammers o scalpers? Is that possible?
Sir, actually, yun sa Olivia o Rodrigo, we already, the organizer put so many restrictions already, which were coordinated with SM Tickets. And after
No, but it was not SM, di ba?
SM Tickets sold the tickets. Your
The ticket, the service. Okay. Okay.
Yes. So actually, we reviewed like what I said in my our position. We always review and conduct review of all the ticket purchases. If we see that some of the purchases violated the terms of use of our platform or violated the event organizers' terms and conditions, we cancel the tickets. In fact, DTI can attest to the fact that they receive more than hundreds of complaints against SM Tickets for canceling the transactions of a lot of the ticket transactions of the Olivia Rodrigo concert. We've been doing everything we can. We're not only relying on trying, we already subscribe to a Qit, which is a waiting room, a virtual waiting room where everybody who wants to buy a ticket will have to enter that room. In that way, we prevent web crashing. So, and to make sure that there is a first come, first serve order of purchase of tickets. Aside from that, after the ticket purchase and after the ticket selling, we conduct the review of all the ticket purchases. If we saw massive registration of accounts, new ticket accounts in SM Tickets, and we see that these are not legitimate person, we cancel them. And we cancel also the ticket transaction. So
And what about internally? Did you fire anyone?
yeah, Your Honor, we there's no way because the event organizer also monitors the ticket purchase online. They
Okay.
see how the tickets are being sold. So I'm not sure whether for me, as well, as far as I know, I'm very active with SM Tickets also. We have no reports of that. And if there was any, we know that they would have to suffer because they will not be able to deliver even if they make any commitment outside.
Okay.
So they
Okay.
will suffer the consequences of their actions.
Okay. Thank you. Yung K-pop, did you bring in NCT? Huh? Yeah, 'cause my daughter is a big fan. And so she lines up at very early. No? Nagpapaalam yun. Alas 8 pa yung ng gabi o alas 5 ng hapon. Pero alas 9 ng umaga, kailangan na daw pumorma o kailangan na daw, ganun pala yun, ano? Anyway, but that, all the more, no? Ang halaga na protektahan natin yung mga consuming public na they go, you know, to great extents to be able to watch and enjoy these concerts. Tapos, mangyayari, yun na nga, sila ay sinasamantalahan, pinagsasamantalahan, no? Kawawa naman, no? They can, I guess, precisely, kaya sila sinasamantala dahil nakikita nitong mga gahaman na bibili nila o pupuntahan nila at all costs. Therefore, you know, pwede talagang samantalahin And nakakalungkot, no? It is oppressive and exploitative. And that's why this hearing is being called. No? Kaya natin nais ayusin. No? Go ahead, ma'am. SM.
Secondly, Your Honor, I would like to manifest that scalping is not illegal in all countries. In fact, there are authorized ticket resellers in other countries, like StubHub, where I buy my tickets when I cannot buy it in the ticket. So I don't know how we can incorporate that in our law. Right now, we're just asking that the ticket scalping be declared illegal. That's the reason why it's so difficult to report it to Facebook, the ticketing assistant, because ticket scalping is not illegal in the Philippines yet, but only in Pasay and Quezon City. So even if we wanted to report that to Facebook, I don't know whether we can legally do so.
No. The discussions precisely
Yes.
is because we're going to craft a law.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah.
I'm very happy about this Senate bill, proposed Senate bills.
Context of all my hypothetical questions and actual questions would be precisely because we want a law in place, and we recognize there is none, at least a national law. No, so I hope that's clarified. But under other laws like the cybercrime law, meron ng the use of bots, etc. That's why I was challenging the NBI not to go after them for scalping, but go after them for violations of the cybercrime protection law. So I hope that's clarified. Are there any other concerns that may be raised? For this, we can already go into a technical working group, no? But for the other hearing, we will have to suspend the hearing. But yes, may we request your resource persons to be available for our technical working group meetings so that we can finalize the committee report for this measure. And with that, we'd like to thank all our resource persons. Maraming salamat. This hearing of the Committee on Justice and Human Rights is suspended.